Okay, so I wanted to look at some of my typing results, the ones I've gotten recorded from um, the last 4 years. There's not that many classes that I did the full typing for and recorded the results, but there are a small handful, and I want to look through them. Specifically, I want to look through the more recent ones um, and just talk about what I'm learning because there's a lesson with each person and then talk about where that's taking me as I move forward in the current and future um, class typings. So I'm looking at the screen here, and you'll see the first few people I typed, I didn't really make it to 512. I also had a hard time just wading through the message and the particulars of that person. I had a hard time getting to just the patterns of the type and where that was really showing up. So I pretty much got almost everything wrong the first few. So very first one, Jordan Byers, that was like class 4. You can see that was way back in 2018. I just got OI. She's not OI, she's OE, she's lead SE, but she's play last. So what's funny about that is that I got the double activated function on that one, and I not only that, but it's double activated masculine OI. So I guess I saw that, but really the conclusion from the class itself was that she was a good example of someone peacocking their last function. That she wasn't really executing the routine that she would kind of talk about in some of her makeup or getting ready videos. We have Casey Neistat. Interestingly, someone who's peacocking OE and also has masculine OE, masculine SE in this case. And so that's the one thing I put down. It was not correct, but it was, there's a pattern there already. And then we have Rick Beato, who I got not so bad. I got the lead human need. I got SITE instead of NIFI. He's someone who's doing a lot of ST with music and music production, but ultimately he's spends a lot of time fighting with the ST, and that really comes across if you watch enough of his videos. He also has a lot of confidence in the realm of the music industry and culture, and so he's got a lot of punching power there. Now, again, I typed TE, which he has masculine TE double activated. So again, I'm already kind of seeing functions, but anyway, that's really years ago now. I'm going to skip through a few of these. I didn't get so far on some of them. I skipped to Lauren Zanders. That was about a year and a half into the class. And this is one that I spent quite a bit of time on and is, I think, looks like the first one where I actually put down the whole 512 and did not do terribly. I got the modality, I got blast play, and I got FENI instead of TENE. So that to me, like, that's not bad at all for like my seventh attempt. And what I really took away from this class was, well, first of all, it's hard to see the letters, but specifically I saw FE and she's TE. And once I started looking for that, I got a much better understanding of what TE actually is, and kind of broke through some of the stereotypes because and that's really what I would say I've learned most repeatedly, most consistently, and realized how much learning and how much work there really is to do is just break down the biases, not just like my biases for certain types, but like my biases for every single coin, or at least most of them. I wasn't able to see, hey, that's TE, not FE. I thought I saw Demon TI, so I was trying to do both sides of the coin. What I learned more specifically from this class is that um, Lauren Zander is someone who's talking a lot about your truth and following, she's preaching DI, and that's not terribly hard to see, I don't think, but I interpreted her as she was Savior FE preaching Demon TI, but that's not the case. She's still using TE, and specifically she's using a lot of T. Now she discovered her DI, but she's still sharing a TE way to do your FI. And it's a lot about, okay, it's about respecting what you want. out of your life, out of your relationship, and following that and being honest about that, basically using the TE with the FI. And in a way, she really does kind of execute uh, the function of FE or TI, even depending on how you want to look at it or how you want to interpret it. She is using those functions together. So it's not like, oh, she ditched FE and now she's using TI. No, she's still using the TE. And that's where I think I got confused. But I understood that all that work I put in, I didn't see the letters. Not, at least not quite. I saw the intuition, but I thought it was NI. Now, the reason I thought it was NI is I thought, okay, she's using narrowed categories. But the thing is, NE is also capable of using very narrowed categories and concepts. And that's what I'm still trying to track. She's using, I think where I would try to look for on her is she's not using the concepts in a really personal way. And she's also talking about keep staying open and not narrowing down too much like on your life and your life choices. So I'm gonna skip over Cassie J. I didn't really figure her out except I saw DI. That's really it. That's the only thing I got right. So then we have Rami Malek. This is where I start to like now we're talking about 8 months ago. So I really didn't type that much during most of college, and I've kind of started coming back to the class more in the last several months. So Rami Malek, I also put a lot of time into. I got a full 512 result, and incredibly, I only got observer decider wrong. So, I mean, I did this one perfectly. I spent a lot of time. I really got to know him. I got a feeling of the functions. I saw the functions. I saw the animals, and I got NEFE or FENE play consume sleep. Now, I had not watched or studied Robert Pattinson from a week or two before that, who is the type that I got. But he's a decider weirdo, and he's more introverted, honestly. He's more drained by people, and then more weird about people and self-identity. So a lot of people who are in the class more consistently were able to see this difference and not see Rami Malek as a decider. Where I went wrong is I just did not see a really big observer freak out. And then I took that to mean decider, but I didn't catch the decider freak out either. He's just, pretty drama-free celebrity. And so it's not as easy as it might be with some, say Tiger Woods, is just having a tidal wave of going EP crazy, out of control, lots of deciders getting into drama, and just not so much the case with Rami Malek. And I think, it's not to say the info is not out there, but I didn't find the info where I was really seeing the hard swing on Demon SI. I think where I would look for that now, and I would improve upon this, is look for the concept of the path. Is he focusing more on the path and a lot of his story up and coming into TV or into the film industry is not it's being stressed out about, okay, am I gonna find a routine? Am I gonna find a path? Am I going to find my place in the industry? And it's really not about his identity. He's very easygoing in that way. So then we got Rihanna. I had a hard time seeing Rihanna at all. I got a feeling for some of the functions, and that's what I ended up putting down. I saw a decider. I got her modalities. I got Gamma Quadra. So I got FI and SE. And she turns out to be the same type as Shan, which is really funny. And looking for that, she actually does look like Shan, which is really funny to me. And I did have the data I needed this time. I should have seen, she after being like abused by her boyfriend was still really struggling to blame him and not herself. And okay, that's not an uncommon story, but it is the way she was framing that story and the way she was the struggles she was sharing with that story and others is very much the DE story. And like I don't know, I think I was pretty close there, and I got it switched around, and I realized I don't really know what an IP is. I don't really know what a DE always is, and she's play consume sleep. She's not as obvious as Lauren Zander, for example. I think I'm missing. I need to put Jamie Lee Curtis back in here somewhere. I'll just go over Jamie Lee Curtis really fast. I got her as TESI. So I learned from Lauren Zander, and I saw this is TE, not FE. This is about her internal feelings, not her internal truth, not really extroverting feelings necessarily. I'm guessing. I'm pretty sure I got pretty sure I got TE, not FE, but I got SI. And again, masculine, double activated SI, but it's a demon. I got it as a savior. And looking back, I can see, okay, actually, she is someone who's really bouncing around and trying to keep things fresh and keep things new. She's doing a weird inventor thing with she her NE thing is that was the diaper. I forget what it was. She made some weird diaper invention, but um, she's sharing a lot of SI. But yeah, I just missed the need for openness and new there. We got Gabor Mate. So there's a few here where the message hits me so hard, the person hits me so hard that I really struggle to type them. This seems to happen more when they have NI. It can happen otherwise, and it can happen with, say, any NT, but it seems to happen the most with NI and with lead NI, where I get caught up in what the person is sharing and their worldview and their message, which is fine. That just means like that's self work that I need to do anyway. But I had a hard time typing him. I got Gabor Mate as audio, FE, NI, Blast Sleep Consume. So I actually didn't do bad. I just didn't get observer decider. I did not see that he was doing the decider the observer thing, because it's not that special to me. Like I'm not seeing how observer crazy he is by default when I'm not looking for it, because that's just normal to me. And I saw FE. I got lead FE instead of FI second. Now I did get the animals right. So this was really giving me some encouragement where it's like, okay, I'm actually to some degree getting the animals somewhat consistently. Not every time, not perfectly, but I got play last. I got last sleep. You can see him really teaching. You can see him very processed. So that was right. But I saw DE. I saw DE because he was talking about overworking and getting away from family. But I think overworking is very contextual and is not very helpful with a binary. Some people overwork, some people underwork. It doesn't seem to, like, you don't have to dominate the outside world, and you don't have to not dominate the outside world based on how DE or how extroverted you are. It's really, like, when it comes to the individual, based on the individual, it's not always consistent based on something that's as surface level as that. Okay, we got Chris Rock. I got this type really close, but, well, not really close. Starting with Chris Rock, I really prioritized just trying to get the human needs. Trying to get the letters too, but really trying to get the human needs. And this is the only one where I got the human needs all correct. So the human needs being observer decider, and then OEOI, DEDI. And I got that correct. And I just did not see I didn't see SE. I saw any. I thought he was too different from, what's his name? I thought he was too different from Kevin Hart. Turns out he is very close to Kevin Hart. He just has feminine SE instead of masculine SE. And that does make a big difference. And I didn't understand how big of a difference that could make. I also didn't understand until I started making some comparisons after this class that some people with the same 512 don't seem similar to me either. And so I'm realizing how much I'm missing there in terms of seeing just the patterns and not the and being able to filter out the person's specific life and struggles and attitude. So yeah, that was encouraging to get that one pretty close. Got sleep last, so that's great. I got feminine FE, so I actually got the second function perfect there, whereas a lot of these other ones I'm missing the second function and not the first. So the next few, I get the first function correct or close. So I got Jane Goodall as TISI instead of TINE. Didn't really see the animals there. Didn't realize how processed and how much of a difference it would make for her to be old and really strongly developed and processed to look like she was sleep blast instead of consume play. Now, something that the community, I think Habib has introduced, is the idea of ambiverts versus omniverts, and that's just really simplifying and codifying are they super introverted or extroverted, or are they not? Are they in the middle? And so a few of these people I've actually typed, um, I think a few times, and some of these results are not on here. I thought someone was sleep blast when they were actually consume play. I think I typed Ben Shapiro that way as well. And then Simon Sinek here at the bottom, I initially, my early guesses were sleep blast or blast sleep. And it's like, no, he's consume play. And like those are two opposites, but they are both more in the middle versus consume sleep and play blast. And they're also harder to see and harder to differentiate versus sleep consume and play blast, which are both more obvious as a coin and more obvious to differentiate from each other. So yeah, Jane Goodall, okay, I saw the quadra, but not the function. Jamie Lynn Kerma, I saw the quadra, but not the second function. So I did almost exactly the same thing. Again, I thought she was blast when she was just really well processed and practicing her message, and I was missing the times that she was stuttering or channel changing or not staying on, or not. Actually, let me talk about this for a second. I realized I don't know what blast is because I keep getting consume as blast, and it's not blast. It's just someone who's a good speaker, and I've done this 3 times now with recent classes. Someone who's consume, I got them as blast. They're very positive and they're very well practiced. They're good speakers. Now they do mess up, so it is possible to catch the consume mess ups. But what I'm realizing is it's not blast does not mean you speak well. It means that when you speak and when you share, you get right to the point and you don't get tied up in details that don't add to the story. Now, Simon Sinek actually has really good stories, but so it's hard to catch him just on that. You have to catch him on the human needs, because then you would see that he's we consume, and then you could, well, then he's demon blast, but you can actually know he's probably not blast last. Not blast last is one of the easiest things to type, except that I got it wrong for Jane Goodall. She's blast last, but usually it's not too hard. Jamie Lynn Kerma, Chris Rock, Simon Sinek, they're not blast last, but they're all blast third. And yeah, so it's really, with Simon Sinek, it's really the human needs. But yeah, that's one I had trouble with. Okay, I'm running out of steam here, so I'm just going to wrap it up. Dr. Shefali Salisbury, I got almost correct, except for observer decider, and this is very similar to Rami Malek. So when you have a repeat problem like that, it's like, okay, maybe I don't want to type to 512 so much. I actually do want to focus on observer decider because I'm not seeing that story. When they're an observer, I'm not necessarily seeing it, and especially if they're play blast. A lot of people got her as a decider, but it's like, okay, like I'm now like heating up. I'm ready to see this better. And so what I'm really focusing on going forward is, are they stressed and getting more amped up about the path? Are they spending more time there, the path, the system, the government? Or are they a decider and they're focused more on, okay, I've really, really got to learn how to own my identity. Now, it seems like whether they are EJs or IPs, they're so focused on like, I got to figure out my identity. And I got to figure out how to connect to people and care about people. But it seems like the identity itself is what they end up talking about a lot. Now, if it's TomTom, he's getting weird about it. He's talking so much about owning an identity that is actually positive and valuable to the world. So he's learning to own the DE, but he ends up spending a lot of time talking about his identity specifically. And then you have all the EJs, you have Tony Robbins, all the ones we know really well. You have Lauren Zander here, and they're talking a lot about it's okay to own, it's okay to love yourself, and you actually need to, in order to help people and connect with people really well, which is obvious, you need to actually own your own truth or your own values, your own emotions, and really get those working together. Now, I saw this with Dr. Shefali, and what I missed was the double deciding. I just didn't spend, and she's the one I did not spend long enough on. I think she's the one I've typed the fastest out of this whole list. So that's just a reminder that, I want to be able to get to where this list is 100 people long, and I want to do it sooner rather than later. But what I'm seeing is there's a very steep curve where I'm not going to be able to type faster until I type more people. I'm not going to type a lot of people for a long time if I'm not typing them fast. So I'm just going to settle in, buckle in, and do this for another year, hopefully more consistently, and see where we are from there, and probably check in some more on the way and talk about even more specific learnings about certain coins. But this has just been another overview of my results so far, and I'm gonna try to do some videos typing, or either typing the upcoming class or the previous class, the week before, to kind of process some of my learning from that.